guys, it's Bryony and welcome to Vlogmas Day 3. So my plan for today's video was completely different to this. I was actually intending to do just another sort of day in the life vlog. I thought I might get round to potentially going to my parents' house to do some sewing. I thought I might have a friend coming over. Just doing some Christmas decorating as well. There are a few things that I thought I might be able to vlog today. None of that happened. I woke up this morning and I woke up quite late actually. I woke up around sort of 10 a.m. in the morning because my pill alarm goes off at 10 a.m. so that wakes me up regardless. And when I'm fostering, I foster young children, so my kids obviously have me up a lot earlier than that. But when I'm not currently fostering, I tend to revert back to this really bad sleep schedule of going to bed a bit later and waking up a bit later, and it usually works fine for me still, but it's not the best. But this morning I woke up around 10, which is kind of normal for me over the last few days, but I just felt rubbish. Not like sick, but just so low and just really down. And there was nothing I could put my finger on for why I felt that way. There was no trigger. Sometimes I feel like I feel particularly low because of the weather. The weather can have quite a big impact on me. But today it's been really lovely. It was like sunny and blue skies, and it was cold, but in my house it's warm, obviously. Got the heating on, and I was just like, there's nothing I could think of, no event or anything that would trigger this for me. So I did initially start trying to film a vlog, and I thought, I might pull myself out of this funk. But as the morning went on, it became clearer that I was just having a really low day today, just feeling really down. I don't want to say depressed is too strong a word, but low, just really low. And all those things that I was planning to do today, I didn't want to do any of them. As it happened, my friend needed to go for a doctor's appointment, so she couldn't come anyway. And then so I kind of already knew that. But then there were other things I needed to do, like for example, I got new stock yesterday for my website, which I needed to photograph and upload videos of and create new codes for the website to send off to the warehouse to have. And I also needed to go to the post office to post some parcels that I had that needed to be shipped. And I'd also originally thought, like I said before, that I might do some decorating, etc, etc, but I literally had no energy. I did not want to get out of bed and do any of it. And it's quite a scary feeling actually when you wake up and you feel that way and you can't put any reason why. You can't think of any trigger that's caused that for you. I'm someone that generally has pretty good mental health. I'm a bit of an introverted extrovert. I like to have my own time to myself, but I can equally spend a lot of time with others, and I do like having company. And I've been pretty active recently in doing various things, so it's not like it's been a really quiet time for me, or there's been nothing going on. But yeah, I just didn't want to get up, I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to go and do anything. I just generally had this feeling like I was failing, like I was a failure. And it took me quite a bit of time to sort of pinpoint it and what it was. But before I go into that, I want to kind of run through the rest of the day with you. So I spent pretty much time lying in bed. And when I recognised I was feeling this way, I have done a lot of work. I'm very, very fortunate that I have a business that is very flexible. I have an income like YouTube and my business and other things that allows me to basically take time for myself on these days and to go, do you know what? We're having a bad day. It's a rough day, and we're just gonna allow ourselves to feel this way. There is an unrealistic expectation that is made particularly worse by social media, I think, that we should be happy all the time, that we should be living these great lives and smiling and being, oh my goodness, everything is fabulous. And that is just not realistic. It is completely normal to have days where we do not feel okay, have days like today where we feel really low. For me, they're quite rare. I'll have the odd, moment in a day where I'll feel a bit like, oh, maybe I'm not sure where my life's going, or I want to plan this, or blah, blah, blah. Just the odd thing will happen and you feel a bit down about it. But I rarely ever have a day like today where I wake up and I just feel completely, so it was a bit of a new thing for me. But when I was first diagnosed with Lyme disease, and when my Lyme was really bad, I developed this sort of self-care system of how I would just accept that my body was not up to stuff that day, and I was going to just treat myself and eat what I wanted, even if it was junk food, even though everyone tells you to eat healthily. When you've got no desire to cook or no appetite really, just eat what the heck feels, your body wants to eat, what you feel tempted to eat, because I've learned it's much better to eat something than to let my appetite decline. Wear really comfy, slobby clothes. I'm currently in my sweats and I've got my fluffy socks on. Watch movies, go on YouTube spirals, just do whatever you feel you need to do. Have a day where I just relax and slow about. and just don't put pressure on myself to get anything done. So that is what I signed up to do today. I did give myself 2 to-do list things, and I said as long as I tick one of them off, I'll feel like I've achieved something today, and that might actually improve my mental health a bit. And those 2 things were I needed to take the 2 parcels I had to the post office, or I needed to photograph the new pads that had come in for stock for the website. Now, I actually managed in the end to do both of these things. I did get up and I took the photographs of the pads, and I actually did a little bit more of that. Sometimes when you're I thought, oh, that's the other thing today. Just woke up feeling completely lacking in any motivation to do anything. But sometimes when you're lacking in motivation, just giving yourself a very basic thing that you start with can actually trigger motivation to do a bit more. So that's what I did today. I said, just photograph the pads, because that's quite an easy thing to do. I said, don't worry about the editing. Don't worry about, uploading them to the website or, sending the new codes out to the system. Just literally photograph them. That's the only thing I had to do today. But I actually ended up photographing them and doing the rest of the other stuff as well, because once I'd done that, I felt like I'd achieved something, and that sort of boosted my motivation. So that's a little tip as well. If you're really struggling with motivation, set yourself something really basic, just one thing that you think is easy for you to do. Once you've done that, you find that that might trigger something in you to be able to want to do a few more bits after that. But that's a tip I have learned over time, so I thought I'd do that. And then I messaged my mum in the afternoon. I also had to tackle an issue with my bank where I needed to call them up, and I knew I was going to have to wait on the phone. And I thought, well, I'll just call them now and see, and sit here. And whilst I was on hold for like an eternity, I decided to message my mum and just ask her if she was around tomorrow, because we had originally planned to meet on a Friday to do the fabric shopping that I did yesterday and that you saw in the vlog. And she said that actually they're having some work done at the house, but did she want me to have her drop off the sewing machine with all the other stuff so I could do some sewing here? And I messaged her back saying that'd be great, I'm having a really low day today and I'm not really sure why. And that then led to her offering to drop it off today and come and spend some time with me, which she did, and which did make me feel a lot better. So she came over and I did start to feel a bit better with her, but I was still feeling really low. But she did push me to go out and take the parcels to the post office. Aside from anything else, because the day was so nice, it was, it's cold, but it was lovely and sunny and blue skies. And she said, getting some fresh air and getting out of the house will do me the world of good, which it probably did, in fairness. So that ticked off the other thing on my to-do list, and then of course you feel like you've accomplished something, and that can make you feel a lot better too. But I was still feeling really meh and really blah, and actually we got back, and as it happened, my mum at that point needed to go and take a phone call for some work she was doing, so she went into my spare room to do that, and I basically started cooking something in the kitchen. I think I just did beans on toast because I was like, I need to eat something because I haven't eaten all day at this point. And this is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't really eaten other than my Advent cookie in the morning. And so I went off and did that, and I went and sat on the sofa, and I was just feeling like I wanted to cry, and I had no idea why I wanted to cry, but I just felt like I needed to, and I was just sitting there. And that's when it kind of hit me that I think I was feeling like a failure. And at this point I sort of sat with myself and just started thinking about various things going on and working out what is going on in my head that's making me feel this way. And I think the main thing I pinned it down to was just, having the grief of sort of losing my dreams and my expectations for the future, which is something that everybody goes through at some point in their life, I think. But for me, it's just hitting now. So basically, you guys, if you follow me, you're probably aware I have a business that I run. I have my YouTube channel, obviously, that I run, and I'm also a foster carer. Now, I have wanted to be a foster carer for a long, long time. I think since I first discovered it when I was about 11, and then as I got older, I think I was 15 the next time I saw something on it, and I thought, yeah, I might want to do that in the future. And then once I really decided to do it, I was 17, but I still had to, move out and get sorted in my own place, and then get my health better, and then reach the age, and the minimum age where I live is 21. So I had to do all these different things, and it took a bit of time to get there, but I kind of set my goals, and I was going to do that, and I was going to set my business up in such a way that it would work with me fostering. And to a certain extent, I achieved all of that. I did it all, but it's not what I was expecting it to be. I knew going into fostering that I was going to be looking after children who'd been through significant trauma, that there were going to be challenges because of that, and I knew that and I accepted that. What I wasn't really 100% expectant of was just how bad the system was. I mean, from reading articles and just generally seeing things online that, everything's not good, that there's a lack of funding, etc. But I hadn't realised just how much of an impact that actually has on your ability to care. I think I naively thought, as long as I just sort of do my best and, I'll just have my kids to look after, and we just make sure, interact with the social workers or what have you, just do my bit and kind of trundle along and it'll be fine. And unfortunately it doesn't work like that, because you need a whole system working cohesively together to make placements work. That's the one thing I have really learned over the last couple of years. And when something in that system is broken, it becomes so hard. And it's made me think that actually I'm not sure how long I can really do this. And that, I think, is what's been hitting me recently, because everything has been set up to work for this. I was one of those people that thought I might be someone that fosters for decades. Now, I love looking after children, I really do, but like the system as it is right now, I cannot do that ongoingly. There's a bit of me that's like, can I even last another year, to be honest, because it's just that bad at the moment. And the other issue is it's that bad everywhere, so it's not like you can leave and go somewhere else. And I don't want to leave, but you just feel like this hopelessness that no one ever seems to do anything. No matter what you say to the higher ups, you have the chance to change things, they just ignore it and do their own plans anyway, because they're so tight on money, and you're like, that's not going to work, and you're actually going to end up spending more money because you're going to need to send them off to other people that cost a lot more money, and I won't get into detail about that. It's a very complicated system, I won't get into details in it, but basically, like, it's just not working. And so I've now had to come to terms with, this is probably not going to be a long-term thing for me. But over the last couple of years that I've been fostering, I've adjusted my business and my YouTube to work with fostering, and basically I've switched over from, before I became a foster carer, my main income was from YouTube and from my business. And I initially thought, naively, that I would foster, and the fostering allowance that I got for the children in my care would just kind of prop it up and allow me to do more things for the children, etc. But I failed to understand just how much time and energy fostering would realistically take up. There's so many hidden things you don't know before you go into this, like the meetings and the paperwork, etc. So it could go on forever, really. So that took a significant hit. And basically what's happened over those 2 years is it's sort of switched over so that my main income is reliant on my fostering allowance, and then my business and YouTube prop that up, which is fine when I'm fostering, but between placements, and you never know how long you're going to be waiting. So there's this whole unknown that you have to deal with of, am I going to be empty for a week? Am I going to be empty for 3 months, 6 months? Financially planning for that is really difficult. So when I was kind of coming to terms with the fact that actually I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to foster for, I'm also having to come to terms with the fact of, I don't know if I can actually build my business and my YouTube channel back up to where it was to be able to support me when I'm not fostering for longer periods of time whilst I go into something else. And there are some other things going on as well, which I don't really want to get into in this particular video. They're nothing major, but they're also having a play on my mind of, a future I wasn't quite sure would look this way. I think coming to terms with that is also what's been making me feel really low. And as soon as I sort of acknowledged that with myself, I actually felt a lot better. And I felt like, this is why I feel like I'm failing, because I feel like I had all these goals and these wishes and desires to do this, and I've achieved that, and it's not what I expected it to be. And I think a lot of people have this idea in their head, or this dream of something they want to achieve, and once they've done it, they realise actually it's not what you initially expected, and something's going to have to change, and that you weren't prepared for, so you're suddenly thrown for a loop and like, well, what do I do? When I was back, I think just before I was fostering, or maybe after I started fostering, but I was still working a lot on my YouTube channel, I started a Patreon page, and I had quite a lot of supporters on that, which was really great. But obviously as time went on, it became harder to sustain YouTube because I was fostering, and then my business was taking over, and so I've lost quite a lot of my Patreon supporters, and so that also has an impact on my income. So just everything together kind of combined to be in a situation where I'm like, this is in the long term not going to be sustainable. So there's a lot that's happening basically, and all of that kind of led to me feeling really low and like I've kind of failed, even though I've done, realistically, I'm only 24 and I've done a lot for someone my age. But I still deal with this. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do better. So that's how I was basically feeling pretty much the whole of today. Although ironically, something that my mum asked to help with actually made me feel better. So my mum has, she's previously been a business coach. She's actually recently retired, but she was a business coach, and she was asked to review some business presentations from some business studies students from from multiple different universities around the world, and they've kind of joined up together. It's a project and they have to work on like presenting an idea, and I think it was something to do with like eco-friendly products and innovative ideas, etc, etc. And they had to come up with these presentations, and she asked for my input and help on them because she said she thought it might be something I'd enjoy, and she was also kind of trying to give me something to distract me with. And I was watching them and I was thinking, if this is the quality of business study university students, I suddenly feel a lot better about myself. because I was watching it and going, no, this doesn't make sense, and how would this be financially viable? And my business knowledge kind of kicked in, and I suddenly went, actually, do you know what? I know a lot more than I think I do. I've picked up a lot over the years, and I've successfully run a business for almost 9 years now. And I started at 15, and I've had to learn everything from scratch because my parents didn't run their own businesses at that point. My mum did then become a coach, but no one in my direct family runs a product business. So I had to figure out how to do that. I had to figure out how to design a website, how to market, how to start YouTube, all these separate things. And I was like, I've actually done a lot, but I think when you're not reminded of that every day. You live it every day, so you don't think about it. But that was just something that kind of poked me and reminded me, actually, hon, you've done pretty good. So even though things might be tough now, it's quite normal for 20-somethings, you know, to be struggling financially and to be, you know, going through difficult phases and through having different ideas of what they want to do and toing and froing and everything. It's just that I've had such an abnormal life so far that it's kind of the first time I'm experiencing it. But anyway, I think I've rambled on enough for this video, but I wanted to share this side of things with you. I wanted to give the more realistic view to, you know, sometimes days are rubbish for me too. Even when, you know, it seems like I've got my life together, or even when you're watching any other influencer or social media person. Mental health is something that everybody of any age and any gender and any, you know, location can deal with. Even people who you think of as being really strong can have days where we really struggle. And I don't want people thinking that they're the only ones going through things. So, you know, let us know in the comments. Let's start a bit of a discussion about mental health. What do you do on your off days when you're feeling really low? Do you have a system for dealing with that? Maybe you're somebody that's dealing with depression and you've been on antidepressants, and we could talk about how that's impacted on you. Has it helped? Has it not? Let's open a conversation about mental health, and I might talk a bit more about this throughout Vlogmas. But I think it's really important for people to see that it's never going to be a life where you're happy every single day, and we should never aim for that. You should aim for a peaceful life, to feeling of peace. And that's the same thing I could say today. Even though it's been a tough day and I've not been happy, I have still been at peace. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Thank you for listening to me ramble. If you do want to support me on Patreon by any chance, the link is down below. It's always in my videos. And also if you want to try out my cough pads, the link's down below too. But I will catch up with you guys tomorrow, and I'm really hopeful that I will be feeling better tomorrow, and I will be able to get to do some things and film a bit of a vlog. I've got some sewing I need to do, and maybe get some of the Christmas decorations up finally. We'll see. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Do please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.